Howdy folks, Tex Grebner here with Tex Grebner Outdoors. Hope you guys are ready for your Tex Grebner Outdoors Saturday morning cartoon awesomeness because it's Illinois Archery season 2019, week number 7. If you guys want to support the channel in a way beyond simply watching the videos, you can go to TexGrebnerOutdoors.com. Check out the Make It Weird sticker, the Make It Weird shirt, the Life Ain't Like the Pornos, Hunting Ain't Like the TV Show shirt, because by God ain't that the truth, and of course my personal favorite, the Kill with Stick shirt. If you guys are looking for a discount on all your trad life supplies, you can go to threeriversarchery.com. Check out their merchandise. I highly recommend the reflective arrow wraps and the trophy burr takedown limb bolts. It is worth buying them because I'm terrible at keeping track of an Allen wrench. They also make a Tiger Shark Pro look pretty darn sharp for the price point that it actually is. Use the discount code of Tex Grebner in your checkout at Three Rivers Archery, and that will show your support for the channel, but also give you a discount on all your trad life supplies because every little bit helps. Now, if you guys are looking for a reason to start a fitness journey, or you need motivation to continue a fitness journey, you don't have to be in good shape to be a good hunter. But as a hunter, you will never regret being in good shape. So I strongly recommend that you check out the traintohunt.com website and look into the Train to Hunt Challenge, look into the Train to Hunt fitness memberships for online coaching, because you don't have to be in good shape to be a good hunter. But as a hunter, you never regret being in good shape. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I hope to see you guys one of these days at a Train to Hunt qualifier and a Train to Hunt national championship. If I'm able, I'll be there, and I'd love to see more traditional bow hunters involved in the Train to Hunt movement. Of course, the slow descent into madness has officially begun. I don't know what I can say for myself. I bring you the reality of the Illinois archery season, living the trad life with the struggle stick if we're going in hashtag speech. Truth is, I work with what I've got to work with, and hunting is a visceral mystery. And the gods are cruel. Possibly 45 minutes of daylight left. Well, that's always a good sign. I wasn't going to have much of a hunt tonight, but I was determined to get out there even if I had 5 minutes of daylight left. Been a couple of days since I've been able to hunt, and I basically sit in a tree stand like it's my day job. I basically get a chance to hunt more than anybody's really got a right to, I suppose. But we'd been going to beat the snow, trying to get the harvest in. And even today, on a Sunday, we were baling corn stalks, trying to get all the bedding off the field for the cattle barns and such. Of course, there's also the fact that life is going to get a little bit more complicated, not to air laundry, but pretty much a elderly family tragedy in the brewing right now, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't change it. And so at least she's still alive for right now. Nobody lives forever. So the good news is the fact that Crocker got his cornfield picked. That means that if a deer does show up and it doesn't die on my property that I have access to, yes, I can go across the property line to get it, but I've always been worried about getting a deer that ran into the standing corn and losing it because of that. Now, the cornfield's picked, which not only does it mean that it's likely that if a deer tears off that way, it's going to drop in the open, but also that's good news because it means that the deer are going to have an easier time traveling around as far as the rut, which may be kicking in any day now. Hopefully I get around to being able to actually hunt the rut this year, but you never really know. It was just so perfect for a November day in the deer woods. This little tiny slice of timber that I've got access to, but by God, I got out. Well, it's time to set up corral gates. By the way, it snowed last night, so all kinds of fun. Oh, this is going to be fun getting up. I bet you never in your life thought you'd see somebody rappel into a whitetail hunt. I absolutely love hunting on the snow. One, it's cold, which means that the deer are probably not going to be nocturnal. Also, I love hunting on the snow because it really makes deer pop out on film if they show up. And I love hunting on the snow because it is just so damn pretty. There is something savagely beautiful about elements that simply do not care about you. Pitting yourself against the animal, pitting yourself against Mother Nature, and doing your absolute best with the full knowledge that the high likelihood is failure. Now, of course, one thing that I do struggle with, and I know I've said this before, is coming up with new and interesting ways of bringing you along on the adventure when literally absolutely nothing happens. But that's just the reality of whitetail hunting. Now, the magic hour was approaching. The wind was perfect, the weather was good and cold, everything was absolutely perfect. And then I look over my shoulder, and here's that button buck and a doe. The same button buck that I skipped an arrow off his back earlier in the season, and the old wise doe. And they're just doing what deer do. And I've got to get my cameras on and get myself into position and hope that things are going to work out. But there's only one problem, and that's that it's cold. And this was going to take a while. So I decided that there is only a certain amount of time when it's below freezing that you can have before your hands don't work anymore. And so I'd already got everything into position, and I figured this was going to take a while if they did end up taking my trail. So I actually took off my shooting glove, put on my winter gloves, and stowed my shooting glove in my muff, basically while watching through my fluid camera like a periscope. So even though the cameras do tend to be a pain in the ass, they do at least let you look without turning your head too much. So now I was ready. Of course, these deer, well out of range, especially considering how cold it is and how long I'd been sitting there. I was so excited. I couldn't believe that, holy crap, I was actually getting to see deer for a change. I'd almost forgot what they looked like. And then this doe just stands there, quartering to almost broadside, wind in my face. The only problem is she's a little bit further than I wanted to try and take a shot, especially because your accuracy will really degrade when you put on the winter gloves. And of course, she just kept walking. And she ended up getting behind me and hitting my wind and just blowing out. But I wish she would have taken the trail straight in front of me. But there's nothing I can do about it, because animals are going to do what animals are going to do. Now, some of you will be very mad at me that I didn't send my arrow as soon as she broke the 20-yard line coming in. But I have no idea why the doe didn't take the trail in front of me. Now, why she circled around behind me, not knowing that I was there. My only excuse is to quote William Butler Yeats. Do I believe in fairies? No, but in spite of that, the wee folk vex me much. I have no idea why the doe didn't come in front, but I was hoping she would, which is why I held my shot for a better shot, because I didn't want to try and risk an arrow that I might regret. Yeah, I'm second guessing not taking the shot opportunity the instant that it presented itself. But I thought that doe was going to come around in front of me and give me a better shot. Now, I did see the button buck, and he's fine. He's got a little slice across his back, and so he's got some Tex Grebner campfire tails and scars to go with it. And that doe counted coup on me tonight. However, the truth is that it's just so exciting when you're actually able to get whitetail on film, because when you solo film and solo hunt put together, being able to film animals, that's practically a victory. Now, it's not breaking the whitetail curse, but you know how I always say that if the deer are not expecting you to be there, then they'll damn near walk up and introduce themselves to you if you pick the right trail. Well, the high-stakes game of whack-a-mole goes on. The wind was perfect. The weather was perfect. It was beautiful tonight. But I didn't get a shot, or I didn't take the opportunity that I had to take a shot. So, the whitetail curse goes on. But holy crap, was that exciting. Basically, the job for today is going to be bedding down barns and moving one of our herds onto their winter range. So that's why we set up the corral gates yesterday. Good and cold. I hope the rut's going to be coming soon. By the time that I got done with my day, between moving around livestock onto the winter pastures and then bedding down the lots with some cornstalk bales, that way they've got a place to lay on that's warm and dry and out of the snow, there wasn't a whole lot of daylight left. And with the full moon going to be rising, it was kind of hard to tell what was the end of sunset and what was the start of the moonrise, because the snow really holds the light for a long time, which is also why I will normally work on deer stands on the snow after dark, which I call fell deeds by moonlight, working fell deeds by moonlight, which is actually a quote from Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, if we're making it weird. However, I was set up in the catalpa tree today that was across from the stand that I'd got busted out in last night. And this tree does have a history with me, because it's very well placed and it's good and tall, good and brushed in, and it's stout enough that it isn't going to shake too bad in the wind. So maybe my tree stand arm camera angles will look a little bit less like the Blair Witch Project, because every time I shift it's not going to shake the camera arm. Of course, nothing showed up. I didn't really expect lightning to strike twice, but I figured that I'd better get moved over onto this stand, because the other stand just wasn't seem to work it out with the shot angles that I was getting. The gods of the hunt have an interesting sense of humor when it comes to me. cowboy stuff. Building winter fence for more pasture. Time traveling a little bit. It's possible that me using Evercomb might have helped me not get busted by the doe that went behind my stand. Truth is, though, with as fast as I used to go through Evercomb because I get to hunt so much, I literally can't afford the amount of Evercomb that I would actually go through by coating down my clothes. Now, normally, I'm not a huge fan of anything to do with outdoor scent stuff, but I know that Evercomb does work. I just can't afford the amount that I would go through, so I just have to basically play the wind anymore. Also, there is a certain element of forlornness when you get to the woods and you know that all likelihood is that nothing's going to show up. But you still go out. And in my case, the most heartbreaking thing is that I know in Crocker's cornfield and in Crocker's timber, just across the property line, that I can't hunt anymore. I know exactly what the deer will be doing, and I know exactly where they would be because I watched them for years and never got close. And just as I was getting ready to be zeroed in on where they were going to be, the very next year, Mr. Crocker decided he wanted to build his house out there, and he didn't want me traipsing around in his backyard. And that's fine. So I can't hunt across the property line anymore, but by God, I know exactly what them deer would be doing. And here I am sitting in a postage stamp of timber, knowing that the likelihood is that the deer aren't going to be happening through. But there is also the chance that as the sun goes down, that they might. Okay, so super awesome. I forgot my Havlon knife at home. So, possibly a good omen that I might need a knife. When you're not hunting, pretty much all you can think about is hunting. And just like in the darkness before dawn, your mind can create a phantasmagoric image of a deer walking down your trail before the dawn light burns away the mystery. When you're not hunting, you can fantasize about what's going to happen when you go out on a hunt and plot different scenarios and try and figure things out and wonder and hope and pray. Of course, then you get out there and you realize, well, this is it. You get about 20 minutes into sitting there and you think, well, crap, I'm not going to see anything. But then again, you might. Because with hunting, you never really know. However, I do have a pretty good idea sometimes as to me not seeing crap versus when they're going to come in. Now, I had plenty of time to hunt today, but I also didn't feel like sitting in the tree stand across the creek. And once I got in, I realized that my other ground set, it was just way too open now that the leaves were off the honeysuckles. And so I decided that I'd move up underneath the cedar tree, and I cut down some honeysuckle boughs and got all set up again with plenty of time. And you may be wondering about me actually doing this during the day and disturbing the woods. Hey, listen, there was nothing there that I was going to bother. And so, at least I've got this spot prepped for in case a deer gets chased through when the rut fires up. Because I really love hunting on the ground. At this point, I don't have a clue what's going on with the deer herd as far as the rut kicking off. No idea. But the season isn't looking terribly promising at this point. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode of Tex Grebner Outdoors. We've had 7 weeks of this crap at this point. I can't believe that any of you would still actually be watching, but I really appreciate all of you that have bought the Tex Grebner Outdoors merchandise. I really appreciate all of you that actually bother to watch these videos. And the truth is, in a cyber campfire, from a shamanistic standpoint, this is practically a morality play where you guys get to watch me on my journey, you get to watch me grow. Nobody looks as good in adversity as me. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode of Tex Grebner Outdoors. Life ain't like the pornos, hunting ain't like the TV shows, and by God, if Wile E. Coyote still ain't my spirit animal. But you'll have to check out next week's episode to see if I kill with sticks. As always, God bless all my sportsmen of America. Join the NRA to protect our rights. Please check out my friends over at threeriversarchery.com. Thank you very much to those who are involved in law enforcement and those who served in the military. And thanks for watching Tex Grebner Outdoors.